Well, hello students, and we're back, and today we are going to be looking at ordering decimals. And our learning intention is this: student, that is you, is able to order, put in order, smaller, larger, decimals up to 3 places. So that means we're going up all the way to the thousandths. So the success criteria would be, for example, if you've got these decimals here, all right, and I wanted you to put them in order from lowest to highest, which is what ascending means, this is how it would look. This would be your lowest, this would be your smallest decimal, this would be your second smallest, this would be your third smallest. Okay, that's not helpful. This would be your third smallest, and this would be your largest. Okay, there's your success criteria. If you had to order these decimals from in ascending order, small to large, you would put them in this order. And we're going to look at why that is the case. Come with me and let's do some learning. Thank you. Okay guys, and here's some decimals, and I want you to put these in ascending order. I want you to put them in ascending order. Now ascending order means that you go from small to large. So you're going to start at the bottom and go up. And I'm going to show you how you do this. And you should be aware of the place value chart by now if you watched my other videos, and if you haven't, you're going to need to, because the place value chart is really important. And finding out which decimals are as smallest and largest is all about place value. Now let's actually put these decimals here in the place value chart in no particular order to see what's going to be the biggest decimal and what's going to be the smallest. So I'll just do that now. Okay, there you go, and that's done. You can see I've made those decimal points enormous, but they're very clear, aren't they? So I wonder what you think is the smallest decimal. I wonder what you think is the smallest decimal, and I'll wager that you've all gone, this one's the smallest one. You all think that one's the smallest one because it's got the least numbers in it, don't you? Well, that's wrong. That is definitely wrong, guys. When we're looking for the smallest decimal, we've got to look at the place value. We've got to look at the place value. And when you're looking at the place value, if you're going to be sorting out decimals, ordering decimals, you'd always start off at the units, because the units are whole numbers, of course. So let's see what's the smallest one in the units column. Well, it's definitely not going to be the 3, is it? That's 3 whole units. It could be this one, it could be that one, it could be that one. Right, so it's going to be one of these decimal values, because these are 0 units. So they're all equal. So now we've done the units, we're going to have to move along. So this has got 9 tenths, this has got 4 tenths, and this has got 7 tenths. Well, they've all got 0 units, but this has actually got 9 whole tenths, this has got 4 tenths, and that's got 7 tenths. So what's the smallest value there? I'm going to tell you, it's the 4. So let's say that that is your first value. That is your smallest decimal. And let's cross that one off for simplicity's sake. Thank you, that's gone. Right, now we're looking for the next biggest one, because of course we are ascending, guys. So what's the next biggest one? Well, we know it's not this one because that's enormous. That's 3 whole units. It's got to be either 0.9 or 0.7. So what's the next biggest? Well, these are the same. This isn't going to be any help to us. They're both 0 units. So let's go along to the next column. Let's go to the tenths. Let's forget about this for a while. This is the biggest for sure. We know that. So is 0.9 bigger than 0.762? Now some of you might be going, this number's way bigger, Mr. Burns. Look, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers in it, whereas 0.9's only got 1, 2. Well, that's not correct. You're right, it does have 4 numbers in it, I can count. But guys, the 10th value here, right, is 9 tenths, while the 10th value here is only 7 tenths. So this is actually the next smallest number. So we're going up, and this would be your, well, next biggest number, wouldn't it? So there's your smallest, 4.89. Then we're going up to 0.762. So what's your next biggest number? Cross that off. Well, we're left with these two numbers, aren't we? We've got 3.06 or 0.9. I wonder what the next biggest number is. Well, straight away, okay, if it's ascending, straight away, we should be able to see that 0.9 is much smaller than 3.06. There's 3 whole units here, but there's no units there. So 0.9 must be our next number. And of course, the biggest number of all, the one that's left, is 3.06. That's your biggest number, without a doubt. Okay, there's some teaching for you. Let's do one together. Okay guys, and this time we're going to be going descending, which means we start at the top, we find the biggest number, and we go down. So I'm just going to write some numbers over here for us. Okay, and here we've got 0.009, 8.0, 1.989, and 1.1. And to order them, we're going to have to definitely put them into the place value chart, guys. So, you know what? Why don't you see if you can do that? So draw it up in your book, pop these numbers in the place value chart, and let's see if we can put them in descending order, which means the biggest one is going to be up the top, and we're going to just go down from that. So pause me, put these in the place value chart, thanks. Okay, and I hope that's what you've got. If you haven't done that, then do that now, because you should have. Well, let's find out what's the biggest number. Which number is the biggest? And of course, we should always start off where? Do we start off with our thousands? No, when we're ordering decimals, we always start off with the units, okay? Because that's the bigger value. That means more. So, is there a number here in the units that is bigger than the rest of them? Well, you've got 0 there, you've got 8 there, you've got 1 there, you've got 1 there. Right, straight away I can see 1 is the biggest. Which one is it? Can you tell me? It's definitely the 8. That's 8 holes, isn't it? So we're going to put that one as number 1. And we'll even write down that's the biggest. Now let's cross it off because it makes it simple, doesn't it? We're looking for the next biggest. Which one is the next biggest? So what are you going to do? You're going to compare these numbers over here? Not yet. You always start over at the units. So which is the next biggest? What do you think? Well, it's not the 0, is it? It's going to have to be between these ones. Okay, so it's going to be this one here or this one, but they're both 1. So where do we go? This is 1.989. This is 1.1. If the units are equal, where do we go? I hope you've worked out that we go into looking at the tenths. We start to compare tenths. Right, this has got 9 tenths, this number. This has only got 1 tenth. So what do you think is the biggest one? Okay, I hope you worked out it was this one, 1.989. So that's the next biggest. So we'll write that down. And we can cross that off because that's done. Right, so we're left, aren't we? We're left with these two. We're left with this one, 0.009 or 1.1. Well, I bet you can work out which is the next biggest just by looking at the units column. Is 0 bigger than 1 or is 1 bigger than 0? I hope you've worked out that it's 1.1. And that's your next biggest there. Okay. And cross that off. And of course, we're left with this, aren't we? 0.009, and that'll be our last number because that's the smallest. Okay, I hope that's helpful. You're going to do one all by yourself, and we'll see how you go. Okay, here's the numbers, 0.890. Another number is 2.568. Another number is 0.999. And your other number is 0.1. All of them in, let's say, ascending value. I want you to put them so they're going up. Thank you. So start at the smallest and go up to the biggest. Okay, have a go. Let's see how you go. Pause me and do that. This should be done in your book. Okay, and I hope that you're back and you should have had a place value columns. You should have had place value columns just like this with them in there, and then using this you should have been able to work out that 0.890 is your smallest number, so that would be number 1. Whoopsie daisy, that was very wrong. The answer would have been 0.1 is your smallest number, so that would be number 1. After that, 0.890 would have been your second smallest, so we're going up. That would be number 2. Then 0.999 would be your next smallest number, so we're going up. That would be number 3. And your biggest number clearly is 2.567. Right, I hope that has been useful in learning how to order decimals with 3 decimal places, just like our learning intention said. Thank you for watching.